Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies, and today we're going to do a review on the Bear Divergent EKO bow. This bow's new in my shop and I have never shot it before, so quick look at it. But before we do that, I've got a Kobe t-shirt on, and obviously the Kobe helicopter, Kobe Bryant died. And then there's lots of messages on Facebook and stuff about that. I think any loss of life, mental illness, suicide has a huge impact on families and everyone around you. And to me, Kobe Bryant was very much about working your butt off, family, friends, and just working hard at life to achieve your dreams. And I think that's a strong message to send. So anyway, and I think all life is important, so you know, it doesn't matter if you're a superstar or just, you know, it's your mum or your dad or your kid who's sick. I mean, I've got 40,000 customers. I've had customers whose sons died while he's been in the shower. Just tragic. So anyway, I'm just going to leave it there. So 31 inches axle, IBO speed of 338 feet per second. This is what it comes like. It comes with a tag there. Now this one's a 70-pound bow. It's adjustable from 26 to 30. Now this is interesting because it weighs 4.1 pounds. Now it says you can only turn this bow down 6 turns. Now it's a 70-pound bow, so I was like, I can't draw 70. Well, I probably could, but it hurt my shoulders. So what I'll do is I'll wind this down now. I wound it down 5 turns. So it allows 6. Now at 5 turns, this bow was 48 pounds at 5 turns down. Now you'll see the poundage is from 55 to 70, so that's kind of interesting. I then wound it up 2 turns. It then went to 55 pounds, and now I wound it up another turn, and now it's at 60 pounds. So I think it's about 1 turn off. So basically what I'm saying is each turn has a dramatic impact on poundage, and my feeling is why that's the case is because these are not compression limbs. It's not putting a lot of tension, so every little turn here is having a huge impact on poundage. So even though this bow is rated from 55 to 70, it went to 48 at 5 turns, and you still had another turn off what the manufacturer said. So I've got a 60 now. So this has got the swing cable guard on it. So this is an old design from Jennings, which swings back towards the shooter. So the advantages of this cable guard system is it reduces torque, which basically reduces cam lean. The disadvantages of this cable guard system, is you can't fit an aftermarket cable slide like a roller slide or something like that to it. Now there's plenty of bows on the market with roller slides like Matthews and I think Hoyt, so you can't fit aftermarket to it as well. This is just one of them. So this is the cable slide. Basically you're stuck to it. If you need a replacement, you have to go with Bear. So that's the only option you have as far as I'm concerned. There may be other aftermarket stuff. Now it's got huge cams on it. Now Bear have gone from the hybrid cam system, which had a yoke system, to a twin cam system. So this is like a binary cam. So binary or twin cam, which means the top cam and the bottom cam are the same, and there's no yoke system to balance the wheels. So the way Bear is balancing these wheels is by moving these cams left to right, and you can see the spacing there to achieve that. So basically if you move the cam more to this side, the cam leans more to this side. If you move it more to that side, the cam leans more to that side. That goes with the bottom as well. Now the Bear limbs that you'll see on this bow, these are not the Gordon Glass limbs you'll see by most manufacturers. These are a Bear Jennings limb. And I use the name Jennings because Jennings is the old company that Bear purchased. And they used to make these limbs years ago, and they're always very strong and durable. So I assume these are the same limbs. They definitely look like the same limbs, and they basically make them out of fiberglass and then mold them. They make batches of them. There's a whole video on Bear making these limbs. So it's got a machine riser. The strings are nice. There's no little pivot here for when you wind in and out. However, when I was winding this bow down in bow poundage, it's very easy to adjust. Some bows without the little grommet in the riser are hard to adjust. This was easy. Because it is easy, you want to check, if you are winding this bow down, you want to put a little mark there on your limb bolts to see if it winds down over time. It's got these little things here on the limbs. This is a silencer dampener. This is a Bear thing. You could fit an aftermarket rubber dampener into these limbs. It has two arrow plunger holes or things. That's to bolt the arrow rest on. So basically you can get a dual fitting. Hoyt made a big song dance about that this year. You only have the one spot to bolt the sight onto. The bow itself looks nice to me. It's a film dip camo. It's rugged, metal limb pockets. Retails in Australia about $11.50. So this is top end Bear. So it's kind of under the price of the other top end bows. But it's still an expensive bow as far as bows are concerned. You know, your basic bow might be $200. Your basic American bow might be $500, so this is double that in price. You've got rotating modules, so you do not need a bow press, and you've got a string stop just there. Now with the Bear, these string stops and the modules are not the same codes, and I haven't opened the manual to say which size draw length is in reference to the module, which is in reference to the draw stop. I don't know if that's in the module or not. But basically, by moving the draw stop forward, you're decreasing the let off. By moving it back that way, you're increasing let off. So if you didn't have this stop here, you'd get 100% let off. It'd basically pull over and it'd be 100% let off. By moving this forward, you're basically reducing that let off. So it gives you flexibility as far as the way the bow feels in the draw cycle. It's got the ability for a two-piece bow quiver. I think Bear still has a two-piece bow quiver. Lots of companies have dropped it. The grip is plastic, feels comfortable. The bow is well balanced in the hand, feels nice and light. The grip feels comfortable. It's smooth here where your thumb goes against the riser. Some bows, I'm going to say like Matthews, it juts out and that kind of hurts my thumb. Depends on your grip. This is smooth to me. It feels comfortable. To me, this looks like very much a Bear Jennings bow from the day Bear Jennings made bows. It's a trademark Bear Jennings bow. String stop, the strings look good. They're the custom made Bear Jennings strings. They look nice, a little spot there for the peep sight if you're fitting a peep sight. It looks nice, so let's go and shoot this through the chronograph, see how it draws, and then shoot it 18 meters and see how well I group with it. Okay, so we're here, we're going to put it through the chronograph. I'm shooting the gold tip velocity. These are 400 spined arrows. They are 29 inches long. They have a 90 grain point. They weigh 327 grains. It's the same arrow I use on all my tests. The bow's measured at 59.97, close enough to 60 pounds. 29 inch draw length. It's rated at 338, which means it should be chronographing a little bit above 300. But first off, we're going to try the draw cycle out and see how it feels. So to start off with, it feels really solid. So the draw here at the start is soft, and now it's really building, and I'm struggling. Oh, and that drops off. The draw length feels long for 29, but comfortable. I'm going to take the shot. .300 feet per second. So it's a little bit probably under what I expected. The valley's nice. I'm going to say it doesn't build up as fast at the first 1 or 2 inches that you'd expect on many of the bows, and that's probably what's causing the speed to be down a little bit on what I'd expect, but then it kind of builds up, and I think that's due to the shape of the cam here. The valley's nice, it feels comfortable at the end. I'm going to say not as quiet as other bows I've shot. The shock's pretty good, not as, I'm going to say other bows, more expensive bows have less shock. So let's just have another shot. .302, so that's closer to 305 that I was expecting. So overall that bow feels quite nice. I get a little bit of shudder when I get into the valley, and that's because it's not as rapid as some bows which drop off. Some bows, as you peak in, that just drops off in a short valley. This has got a longer valley, but it still rocks into that valley, and I get a little bit of shudder when that occurs. But as a hunting bow, this is very much, it's very much the Bear Jennings bow that I've been shooting, that I've known. I owned a Carbon Extreme, which is a 1985, 86 bow. It's very much along that line with the more parallel limb, so you get less shock. But if you're familiar and you like Bear Jennings, you're probably going to like this bow because it's very much along the same sort of theme. .301. I'm going to say so when I hit the valley, the bow does that. The grip is really nice. Yeah, the grip's nice. I like the grip. I like the way the bow feels. There's little shock when you shoot it, but there are bows with less shock when you shoot it. There's some bows that are just completely dead. There is a little bit of, it's not just a little bit of vibration in the hand when you shoot, but it's still very good. So with that, let's go and shoot this at 18 meters and see how well I shoot. Okay, so we're back at 18 meters. Now I've shot a few practice shots, about 6 practice shots. The last one, which you'll see, like the last hole you see on the target, was a high 9 at about 11 o'clock. I'm pretty happy with that. The others were low sort of 9s. I haven't adjusted my sights because I'm more interested in the group and how tight the group is. Now to start off with my aim, I found a little bit of shake. So it's not a lot of shake. I found my sight pin was kind of moving around the 9, so probably not as steady as some bows I've shot. Now it could be me, it could be fatigue. So I'm going to be interested to see what the groups are like. Now I did, my first 3 arrows at 18 were actually touching each other, and I adjusted my sight and it moved up to that high 9. So it's going to be interesting to see how these shoot. So let's shoot the arrows and sort of see. Now I am finding, so I normally shoot between 28.5 and 29 inches in draw length. So my current Supra target bow I'm shooting is 29. My other ones are 28.5. I'm finding this draw length at 29 a little bit long for me. So, and that's just based on the bow and how they feel. So that's where it's good to have rotating modules or draw stops you can adjust. Now that was just a bad shot. I moved my hand down a little bit as I took the shot. I was just thinking about the draw cycle. Before it hits the valley, there's like a little lump in the draw curve, which isn't as smooth as some bows. That was better. So back on the Kobe Bryant thing. So I watched a lot of stuff on Kobe Bryant when he was growing up. Now he wasn't the greatest basketballer as a kid. In fact, he watched hours and hours of film of Michael Jordan, and he spent hours perfecting each one of Michael Jordan's moves by using videotape and then going outside and practicing. And I think it wasn't until he was like 18 that he became actually quite good at a state level, and then obviously the rest of it's history. But what his story says to me is about the huge amount of work he put in, and from all reports, you know, from all the players who played with him, he put in more work than anyone else, and obviously you get the results from that. So it doesn't matter if you're Bill Gates or I'm thinking of the guy from Apple, Steve Jobs, who just basically completely devoted to their work. It's just that massive amount of effort that people put in to reach excellence. The shot, after the shot, it's actually pretty good, and the more you get to shoot it, so now I've shot probably 15 shots with it, I'm getting more used to the aftershock of the bow, how it feels in my hand, and it's feeling better. Like I said at the start, it's not drawing as smooth as some bows, but it's not bad, definitely not the worst bow. It's kind of, and it's not as smooth as a lot of Bear bows. So Bear normally have a pretty smooth draw cycle. Now my sight pin, when I'm aiming, is moving around the gold, which would explain my first one being low because my arm dropped a little bit. So I'm actually working quite hard at these shots to try and keep them in the middle. But a nice bow to shoot, the weight's good. I like hunting bows at around the 4 pound mark because they're not too heavy, you can add stabilizers to them. And that brings the whole question of, well, are you then better to buy a 3.5 pound bow and then add stabilizers to that? But at this price point, at the Bear, you're not buying a 3.5 pound bow. You're not buying a carbon bow, which is $2,000. You're buying a, top of the range Bear, which is, half the price of the top of the range carbon. Now when I shot Vegas last year, I didn't see many Bear bows there because they don't really have, they did have target bows, but they don't really have it. What they focus on is your meat and potatoes hunters. The guy who doesn't really want the fancy, I'm going to say Hoyt, doesn't want the fancy bow, he just wants a functional bow that is rugged, that he can shoot and kill an animal with. That's what Bear produce, and to me that's what this bow is. Now when you're looking at buying a new bow, it's always good to go and have a shot and make your own assessment of what you think a bow's like. Because if you often look at reviews, people have biased views or opinions because they're getting paid to do that review. I mean, if you do a bad review on a product, you'll get dropped, or they'll supply you slow, or they'll just not supply you. So you've got to understand, like, it's very rare for a person to drop a bad review on a product because the comeback is huge. Now one of my friends has got a store in Canada, and I said, are you going to stock Bear? Because he said he's stocking Bowtech, Hoyt and PSC. I was like, 3 big brands. But he wasn't stocking Matthews. But stocking Hoyt, Bowtech and PSC, they're 3 of the big brands. And I said, why aren't you stocking Bear? And he said, too hard to get. So I don't know if that's the salesperson who's doing the distribution or what, but that was his view. Now then I had another person who's in America, and they said Bear is all in the box stores. So if you go into the Cabela's and all that in America, the big box stores which do all your fishing and hunting, they said just Bears all over the place. And I think that's probably where Bear do a good percentage of their sales, in the big box stores. It's not to say that I don't support local shops. I think they probably have a customer service network. I mean, I find it harder to get Bear than other companies. My freight costs into Australia are huge. So my last Bear shipment, the cost of a bow to get in was about $300, $400 freight. Now that compares with other companies where I'm freighting them in for around $80 a bow. So the costs were just prohibitive, and I literally could not make any money on that shipment unless, well, I just couldn't make any money even if I sold all at retail, and I sold mainly wholesale. So I heard a little creak with the bow, and I think it was a cable guard right when I hit like full draw. Now you'll see the strings come in the corner of my mouth. I like it forward a little bit. Now whether I do that through the draw stops or through modules, I'd probably do it with the draw stops first, because I prefer, I would prefer less let off for a target 3D setup. For a hunting setup, I would move the modules forward, because I'd probably want higher let off. Whoa. Real live videos. So basically I got in my anchor point, and I was ready to sort of focus and hit the thing. I relaxed, and then the bow came forward. Now if that happens, just make sure the arrow is still knocked on. Most of the failures I see in an archery shop is basically the arrow is not knocked on the string properly. So the person basically dry fires their bow without realizing they're dry firing the bow. So always make sure it's knocked on fully. The majority of dry fires are through not being knocked on fully. Yeah, so for me, I'm just feeling that's a little bit long in draw length, but comfortable bow to shoot, nice bow to shoot, and not bad. Now in the price point, in the market, how does this bow sit compared to the competitors? So this bow sells at around $11.50 in Australia. So that kind of price, you know, I'm going to start with PSE. The PSE top line bow is about $1,400. That's the next. So I was pricing it to the ones down. And I think that's an interesting comparison to make. I'm going to say the PSE is probably a bit smoother, but the PSE's probably got the plastic limb pockets. And that would be a good comparison to make if you want to make a comparison. I'm going to say the Hoyt at the $1,000 price point, I'm going to say this bow's superior to. I think it's faster. I think it's got less shock. I think the Hoyt's a cast riser. This is a machine riser. The Matthews tend to be more expensive than this bow in the same price point. The Obsession, I think it's the HB33, is about the same price point as this. Maybe even a little bit cheaper. Is an interesting bow to compare it to. Maybe the HB33 is smoother from Obsession. A nice bow to shoot. Now I've probably forgot some companies. Martin I can't compare it to because I don't get Martin. Now I worked on a Bowtech yesterday, well okay, but I haven't shot any of the Bowtechs in this price point. And when I say, oh okay, boy that was a job to rebuild that bow. Spent 8 hours on it. On my busy day Saturday. Have I forgot any? PSE, Bowtech, Hoyt, they're your big companies. I'm probably forgetting some company. Elite. Okay, now the Elite bow in this price point would be an interesting bow to compare to. So this bow is cheaper than the new Elite Cure, which comes with a rotating module. So it's, you know, like this bow's 50% cheaper. I'm going to say the Cure would have a smoother draw cycle, similar speed to this. Not as adjustable in bow poundage. The Bears are more adjustable, so you've got that more flexibility with the Bear. So what it competes with on the Elite bow is the bow called the Enlist. Now I've got the Enlist on special for about 800. Now that bow's modular adjustment, so you need modules and you need a bow press to change the draw length, which is a pain in the butt. But the bow itself is actually pretty good, and it's got draw stops on the limb stop. Now I didn't see the limb stop for this here. I don't know if they make one, but this is clearly what this is for. So I'm going to say in the marketplace, me thinking about the bows that are about $11.50, I think this is well priced, and I think that Bear have priced their bow pretty much where it needs to be in the marketplace. It's not too expensive and it's not too cheap. So it's not like a standout buy. It's not a bow that you go, oh, that's too expensive. There's other bows better in the marketplace for the price point. It's about right. And it's backed by Bear, and so they're pretty good with warranty. So if ever you get a warranty, you just basically ring them up and they just fix it. So I haven't had too many problems with Bear warranty. It comes in pretty quick. And I think it's a different chain than the supply of the bows. So with the supply of the bows, it's a different process to warranty. I think it goes through different areas. So the warranty's been pretty quick for me with Bear, Bear Trophy Ridge. So overall, I think the bow's good. I like it, and I think it's very much in the tradition of Bear. So if ever you've shot a Bear Jennings bow, which has been on the market forever, this will be a familiar thing for you. The limbs are familiar. It looks like all the other ones. So if you like the Bears, you'll like this bow. But go and test it, and let's go down and see what the grips are like. Okay, so you would have seen the arrows better than I did because you would have seen them when I was shooting. So this grip, to me, it's not the best grip I've ever shot. It's not bad though. It's, I can't get my finger around them. There's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 10s. There's a couple of 8s, 3 8s. It's not the best grip I've ever shot, and that's exactly how that bow felt to me, the Bear Divergent EKO. It was a solid bow to shoot, but it wasn't as steady as some bows I've shot. It wasn't faster than some bows I shot. It's a bow which is in the middle. It's a kind of a, so the fast speed bows are harder to shoot, and this is not a fast speed bow, but it's kind of verging on the fast speed bow, but it's got a little bit of the accuracy in there to make the bow more forgiving. Now I didn't check the specs on the brace height of the EKO. I'm going to guess it's a little bit under 7. I tend to shoot tighter grips. I tend to get less wobble with 7-inch brace heights, and you'll see a lot of the bows are coming out at 7 now. But overall, there was no peep sight, no thing. I'm going to say if I shortened the draw length by ½ an inch, I reckon this group would come in because I was just back past where I feel comfortable. And draw length to me is critical, and it's good to be able to play with your draw length and shorten it or lengthen it and see what's comfortable for you. So I find if I could shorten that a little bit and relax this arm just a little bit, I would feel better in the shot, and I would think I would get less left to right movement in the shot. So up and down was actually not too bad. Now my sight pin when I was aiming, the group there is like that. That's basically how much my sight pin was moving when I was aiming. Now you'll generally aim better with a heavier bow. Now for hunting, a heavier bow means you've got to lug it around the bush. So if I added stabilizers to this bow with weight, it would be steadier, and I would have shot a tighter group. So always bear that in mind when I do the reviews, that lighter bows are harder to shoot because you just wobble around a bit more than with a heavier bow, as long as you can hold it. So my target bow is 4.7, and I put on a whole heap of weight, literally as much weight as I can bear, to hold that thing steady. So anyway, the Bear Divergent EKO, I think it's a nice bow. So things I like about it: draw length adjustability, the let-off adjustability I really like. Like the limbs, the price point's pretty good. The poundage adjustment's pretty good. I don't know about the cable guard. Bear have had this cable guard forever, and honestly, I've never seen a problem with them. I just don't know if I'm a fan because it's so different to what other companies have. But they've had it for 20 years and literally I've never seen a problem with them. And I've seen the bows come in after 20 years and they still have the original cable guards on them. So take from that what you will. Yeah, overall, Bear, good company, been around forever, and a lot of the technology in the Divergent's been there forever. Now with everything, I get asked all the time, what's the thing I can add to my bow to improve my archery? I literally got asked that twice on Saturday, and I said shoot more. Just shoot more. Like, will stabilizers improve my accuracy? Yeah, by like 4 or 5%. Would a peep sight improve my accuracy? Yeah, by 1 or 2%. You know, if you go there and put the time in to correct your form, correct your shooting, build your muscles, improve your cardio, that's going to have your biggest impact on your overall shooting. So I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. I hope that's been helpful. And with any bow, go and try them. It's because what might feel good to me might not feel good for you. Thanks for watching. Bye.